action. Check it out. Cold rock stuff.
Boys Tournament Basketball coming at you live and free from the Cub Cave tonight, where the defending district champions open their postseason journey. We've got 5th-seeded Lucas hosting number 12 Danbury for a spot in the sectional finals, streaming to your smartphone, PC, or TV. Next.
A1 Auto Sales Mansfield is driving excitement. You asked for it, you got it. A 3-month, 3,000-mile warranty on all vehicles. A local veteran-owned dealership caring about the community, providing quality vehicles at rock-bottom pricing. Cars, trucks, SUVs, and vans of all makes and models. No bones about it. Daisy the Doodle says thanks, A1 Auto Sales Mansfield, for making my first-time car buying experience simple. Located at 100 South Illinois Ave, A1 Auto Sales Mansfield is the dealership for you.
Stop in the Cub Cave Carryout in Lucas. Conveniently stocked with everything you need, and even a one-stop pet shop. Located on Ohio 39 in the heart of Lucas. Proudly supporting Cubs playoff basketball. Lucas begins their playoff quest tonight, seeking a trip back to regionals, hosting the Danbury Lakers with live and free coverage beginning right now. Good evening, folks, and welcome to the Cub Cave. My name is Brian Skowronski, joined by Travis Berardi tonight. We've got Division IV Sectional Semifinal action, a rematch of last year's semi, a 49-point blowout by the Cubs. Much different looking Lucas team, though, but it's a team that can really get after you on the defensive end of the floor.
Yeah, and you know what, this defensive team, they will press you full court for a 32-minute period, and they will turn you over a lot. This team might be just as good of a defensive team or even a better defensive team than last year, and I actually got a chance to talk to Coach Taylor Eisman before the game about their defense.
Coach, you know, somewhat of a different team than last year. A couple guys graduated. You have Riley Gossam on the bench right now, but Ethan Sauter and Ethan Wallace have really picked things up after being, you know, on a side role last year. Just how important have they been to you guys' success this year?
Oh, they've been extremely important. You know, just being seniors and being through everything they've been through in their careers, whether it be basketball or football, you know, they're just winners. And, you know, we lost Riley, we graduated some good players, but, you know, we've got really good young kids, and just the leadership role that those two have taken on and the different roles that they had to take on as players. You know, it took us some time to figure things out, but we're playing pretty well right now, and like I said, I can't say enough about those two.
And another key, defensively, you guys have been stellar. I've seen you in a couple of games. It may be just as good or even better than last year's squad, but just how important has the defense been for you guys this year?
Well, last year, you know, we were really talented and we could outscore most people. This year we have to play defense to try and win games. So, like I said early on, we had to do that to be in games, and the kids have, you know, just embraced that identity and rolled with it, and they play extremely hard. And like I say, the nights where we're good offensively, we're a really tough team to beat. But usually we can count on our defense to be there just about every night to keep us in every game.
All right, Coach, send it back to you, Brian.
Cubs did run away with last year's contest in this matchup, beginning with their defense, turning it into offense, so ball control going to be imperative for the Lakers' success tonight. That's something Coach Diebler spoke with Travis Berardi about just a few moments ago.
Joined now by Coach Diebler. Coach, I know only 2 wins this year, but it seems like you guys been in a lot of contests. Just overall, what is your thoughts on your team so far this year?
Well, we got 2 starters sitting over there, and I'm really happy with the youth that's come on and our senior leadership and where we're at right now. We're improved. and our big thing right now is putting 4 quarters together.
And you faced this Lucas team last year in a sectional. They have a completely different complexion this year than last. Just what's the game plan against them tonight?
Well, I think you have to deal with, anytime you play them, the physicality that they have. They're very physical, tremendously coached. You know what you're going to get when you play them, and we know to stay with them, we're in for a war for 4 quarters.
All right, Coach, good luck tonight. Back to you, Brian.
We are all ready for showtime here tonight inside the Cub Cave, and ironically, we got the Lakers playing here, so it's going to be a fun matchup. But Danbury down a couple of starters, Travis. They're in a tough spot. Just the 2 wins on the season. They also enter tonight's game. No Grayson Clark for them, also without Bo Buchanan. So they're going to expect some younger kids, like you heard Keith Diebler talk about, to step up, play some big minutes here tonight, and they better play well if they want to get a win over these Cubs.
Yeah, because they're going to have to break, like I said, that Lucas Cubs press. And I'll tell you about that in my keys here in a moment. But, Lucas just 32 minutes, 95 feet of press, try to, create chaos, get you thrown off your game. And if you have a couple guys, if you don't have your full lineup there, those younger guys, it might be costly for them tonight.
We'll find out. And on the other side, definitely some younger kids in the mix for Lucas, but they've been there all season long. In particular, the freshman Logan Toms. This is a kid averaging over 8 points per game, Travis. I don't know that he thought that he was going to be as big a part of the picture as he's been, but he certainly has become a huge puzzle piece for them and fit in real well.
Yeah, they have some very, very good freshmen coming up. And we even saw in that Shelby Riley Gossam game that they could even go up against the best you can see, and they even put up a really tough fight at Ontario on a bigger court. With this defense, they really shrink things down. But these freshmen, they're battle-tested, and they're going to need that if they want to make a run without the likes of Carson Hogger, Logan Nicewander due to graduation, and Riley Gosson, as you see, being announced right now, who doesn't expect to be playing until next week, so they need to win a sectional championship if he wants to get back on the court.
And I think that's the proper move for them. Riley doesn't look like he's fully healthy just yet. Let's go ahead and take a look now at the keys to victory set up by one Mr. Berardi. So break it down for me, Travis. What needs to happen for both of these teams to be successful?
Well, Lucas, they got to apply that pressure. They have to just be that suffocating defense that we've seen all year. For Danbury, they're going to have to be able to break that. They're going to be able to limit those turnovers. They'll probably be in this game. And if they can break that press, they're probably going to get a couple easy looks at the bucket, and that could help them. And the final key, 50 is the magic number. If Lucas can hold Danbury to under 50 points or just over 50 points, they should be fine. But if Danbury can break that 50-point mark, which they've done multiple times this year, this is going to be a game.
Find out if the Lakers can put up enough points here tonight to make it a contest. 2-20 on the season, 1-15 in the Sandusky Bay Conference River Division. And here are the starting lineups for tonight. Harper, the senior, going to be out there in the mix along with Andrew Finello. And then the other two key seniors, Ethan Sauter, Ethan Wallace. We already talked a bit about Toms. And then for the Lakers, their leading scorer is Bradley Murray. He's going to be out there with Guy Maltese, Blake Barker, Caden Conrad, their second leading scorer, and then Andy Zelms will be playing the wing for them tonight. And there's the Goose being announced.
Ethan Sauter and Ethan Wallace have really picked things up with Riley Gossam down. They knew they had to do some of that with the legs, like I said, of Hogger and Nicewander graduating, but these two really taking over, and Ethan Sauter, that first team all-district selection.
Yes.
Well-deserved, defensive, offensive. He is the team leader out in the court with Riley on the bench. Riley, though, has been more of a coach. He's been helping out at practice and things like that. You know, right after the accident he had, he was still breaking down film with the team. He's been all in with the squad despite not being able to be out on the court. And that's I think it's really helped the likes of Goose Wallace and Ethan Sauter just, become those leaders.
And this is an interesting tip formation, Travis. You don't hardly ever see this. Zelms is going to go head-to-head here with Toms.
You think he's going to tip it backwards, Brian, if Lucas wins it?
It's going to be won by Andy Zelms, though, so opening possession is going to go to the Lakers. Swinging around the perimeter. Now here's Murray. Step back three on the way, and that one finds the bottom. Good start. Oh, I thought we were getting a timeout from Coach Heisman. After 15 seconds, he's seen enough.
They're going to call it a 2.
Okay.
That's why they stopped.
Might be the proper call.
So that's exactly what Danbury needs to do. They didn't have to face the press yet, but at first possession, get the first points, get those nerves out of the way.
And they're going to full court pressure all night is Danbury. Like to move up and down the floor fast, so Keith Diebler, if you feel like you've heard the name before, yes, it is the Keith Diebler that led Upper Sandusky to the state championship undefeated back in 04-05. As the second opportunity is good here for Toms.
And that is what he has done all year long for Lucas. Hasn't been playing like a freshman out there this season, Brian.
Well, and you're not at this portion of the year either, and I think the players will tell you that, and certainly the coaches, the maturation process for a young player like this. Once you get to tournament time, man, I mean, you've been solidified in your role. He's now been a starter for an entire regular season. Logan Toms, one heck of an athlete.
Yeah, and the cupboard is not bare for this Lucas squad after this year because of that good freshman class that they have.
Logan backs it out, had it tipped. Now Sauter, nice look inside, and the left-hand finish for Harper.
2 possessions, 2 field goals for the Cubs. They lead 4-2.
Lucas created a turnover on their previous defensive possession. Quick trigger again for Murray. This time off the mark, saved inbounds by Finello. And they poked it away. Goose Wallace coming up with the steal.
So 2 turnovers already for Danbury after a very good first possession, but they get the ball back on a turnover for themselves.
It was Conrad. Now no look pass, Murray all alone, open look, and this one goes down.
Lucas has had a little bit of a lapse the last couple possessions, allowing Murray to be open. You can't let the leading scorer for Danbury do that.
Looked like that one got tipped, but right into the hands of Harper. He took the bump, heading to the free throw line for a couple.
If you take a look, just wide open, easy bucket there. Cut the lead to 1, or actually to take the lead.
Harper coming up well short there. That free throw attempt.
Wind might have been a factor for that one, Brian.
There was a door open earlier in here. It was a little warm in the gym, so maybe the breeze hasn't subsided. Harper able to dial it up on that second one.
He adjusted that time.
And we're all knotted up now at 5 apiece.
Oh, nice pass.
Back-to-back assists here. Dishing out some candy here is Conrad.
Murray with all 7 points for Danbury. Got the lead back, 7-5.
And speaking with their scorekeeper before the game, as you take a look at that delicious dime set up there by Conrad, I asked who are some of your top performers, and right away she pointed at number 5, and she's like, we're kind of hit or miss outside of that. So we've seen Murray here get off to a nice start, as Goose Wallace bullies his way up for the jumper. Toms with the rebound.
So another offensive rebound, a third for the Lucas Cubs. Getting another chance here.
Goose tried to just flick it in. No looker to Finello. Leads to a jump ball. He and Barker got tied up.
But the ball will go back to Lucas on the jump.
Trying to get it to Sauter in the corner. He unleashes.
Ooh.
In and out. Toms with another offensive board.
That was everything but down. Perfect. It was a perfectly run out of bounds play as well. He was wide open. But a nice pass.
Great backdoor cut as well by Finello. He's the recipient, and we're back to square.
And yet another reason why Ethan Sauter was a first-team All-District. Just that court vision has been so good for him this year.
Murray lets it fly. This time the junior off target. Another nice setup by Conrad. But the previous play, you want to talk about nice setups. That's what Sauter's been doing his whole career.
Gotta love when they throw a nice bounce pass in there too. You don't see many bounce passes nowadays going into the entry to the block from the top.
Didn't realize that was a lost art, Travis, so I'll admire it even more when Sauter sends him. Though he misses this attempt. Rebound pulled down by Barker. Danbury looking to push ahead. They lose the handle, and we got another jump ball.
So Danbury having trouble getting it into the paint. Just Lucas right there to swarm him. And as you've seen, their points, they've come pretty much right around the arc. So the Cubs doing what they've been doing all season, closing down that paint.
Over the right shoulder, Conrad comes up short with the shot attempt. So here comes Sauter, leading it off for Toms. 1-2-2 trap zone look here for Danbury. Leaves this open, but how about the swift swat there by Bradley?
Yeah, and Harper, he did a quick pump fake. He needs to get that all the way up and bring it back down, let the guy clear, then put it back up. He would have had the easy lay-in.
It's going to be tipped by Murray. Sauter comes back to collect it, though. Now Tom's inside. Goose Wallace too strong with the shot. And it's going to be Cub ball.
Danbury once again can't come out with the defensive rebound, and Lucas a third possession here.
Ooh. Sauter somehow, some way got left all alone on the block. He delivers. Cubs back on top. Now by 4. It's the Ethan show. Wallace after a bucket from Sauter. Timeout taken by Danbury and Coach Diebler, who are off to a nice start here, though, minus the last 10 seconds. Been pretty impressed with what we've seen from the Lakers. Definitely going toe-to-toe right now.
However, 5 turnovers already. Like I said, one of those keys, you got to keep the turnovers down. Most of them came inside the paint, too. You get a couple buckets instead of a couple turnovers. This is a tie game right now. But instead, Lucas, with that defense, especially right on that full court press, Danbury thought they could get a quick little toss in. Goose with the pick, easy layup. It's 11-7.
And looking forward at the week ahead for the OH Report, we're going to have 6 girls district semifinal games coming at you live and free, headlined by the TY Tigers going up against the Shelby Whippets, the number 1 seed. Also get to see another number 1 seed in Willard go against Cary as Murray finds the bottom again.
Murray all 9 points right now.
Goose attacking, had it swatted right back to him. Kind of fortunate, back to Papa. And he's got the 2. I think, looked like Smolin probably got away with a foul there.
And Murray able to get the timeout on the right before the tie-up, so. Lakers down 4, coming up on 3 minutes left in the first quarter. Get the timeout, chance to cut it back to 1 possession.
Coach Eisman, what a job he's done with this team who were left without their biggest piece just a couple weeks before the season. Got off to a rocky start. Just 3-4 out of the gates for the Cubs, but since then, they have been rocking it, Travis. 15-7 overall in the year, 9-2 in their last 11, though they dropped their season finale to Clear Fork. But this is a Lucas team that you've seen them progressively take the steps week after week. A lot better now than they were looking back in November.
And then those mid-season losses, only 5 to South Central, the number 1 seed in this district, and the number 2 seed in the Division II Ashland district. At Ontario, they dropped by 6 points, and they kept Ontario to under 50 points as Murray with all 11 points now. It's a 2-point game.
And if that's going to be the offense for them, why not feed the hot hand? Conrad sends it ahead. Murray's going to let it fly again.
Oh, my goodness.
Dropping bombs in the Cub Cave. He's got 14 points, outscoring the Cubs by himself.
Wow. Jinx, you owe me a Coke, but Coach Diebler, he's got a shooter. Seems like every team he has a shooter, and Murray proving to be that one, but another lapse in defense. Lucas just putting them to sleep right now.
Murray reverse layup just a bit too strong. Would have been a tough finish from the angle.
That was the second time that Ethan Sauter was wide open underneath the bucket.
Bad pass thrown there by Harper. But the Cubs get it right back.
A little bit of sloppy play by both sides here as we come up to the end of the first quarter. This is where Lucas, as you see they're doing, just slow things down, reset, try to get something started.
Toms missed it. Wallace, though, with the putback, plus another one on the way.
Goose, right place, right time. After the good pass by Sauter. Perfect positioning, shielded off the defender, and one. 6 points for Wallace.
Double-figure score on the season for the Cubs. He and Ethan Sauter both averaging in double figures. The Goose, 10.5. Ethan, about 15. And here's Sauter. Just picked his pocket, reached in, took it right away from Zelms.
Yeah, Danbury tried to push it once again. But when you have Ethan Sauter back there, probably going to be a steal. Now Andrew Smolin will go to the line for 2.
Foul going against Daniel Webster. And I just heard a threat that we might be seeing some push-ups going down here at the Cub Cave.
And just like I said, Danbury trying to push it, and Coach Heisman saying if they're going to beat you down the court, I'm going to call a timeout, you're going to do push-ups right here.
I've never seen that during competition, so I'm almost rooting for the Cubs to get beat back on defense just so I can know what this looks like.
It's like a scene out of Major League. Willie Mays Hayes pops it up, lays right down there in a preseason game. Push-ups.
A little bit more at stake here in the postseason.
Yeah, you think.
The Cubs doing some nice work on the offensive glass right now.
That's their 6th offensive rebound.
Getting skinny through the hole there was Toms. He missed a shot at the 10, boarded by Webster. And the Cubs get back on defense. Offensive foul. Yeah, Webster just rushed right through the defender. And this is a high-scoring game, Trav. According to your keys, man, this kind of plays a little bit more in Danbury's favor.
Yeah, exactly. That 50-point mark, especially it's only a 4-point game. They get a stop here, get a bucket. Anything could happen. The longer that Danbury sticks around with Lucas, the better they're feeling about themselves.
Corner, pocket, 3-ball, Smolin. 7-point cushion now for the Cubs as we're under 30 seconds to go here in the first. And Sauter, boy, he just has such great acceleration. Now left all alone. 3 misses, though, for Toms. And now Bradley has instructions to hold for the final shot.
And if Danbury can't score here, that 3-pointer, you're going to come back to look at that later on in the game if Lucas can start rolling.
Murray missed it, and that shot off the mark at the horn, taking us to the end of one with the Cubs on top, 21-14. Stop in the Cub Cave Carryout in Lucas. Conveniently stocked with everything you need, and even a one-stop pet shop. Located on Ohio 39 in the heart of Lucas. Proudly supporting Cubs playoff basketball.
A1 Auto Sales Mansfield is driving excitement. You asked for it, you got it. A 3-month, 3,000-mile warranty on all vehicles. A local veteran-owned dealership caring about the community, providing quality vehicles at rock-bottom pricing. Cars, trucks, SUVs, and vans of all makes and models. No bones about it. Daisy the Doodle says, thanks, A1 Auto Sales Mansfield, for making my first-time car buying experience simple. Located at 100 South Illinois Ave, A1 Auto Sales Mansfield is the dealership for you.
Seven-point differential as we open up second quarter action here at the Cub Cave, where the story in the first, a lot of guys getting involved for the home team, just one person doing all the scoring for the others.
But that's all right because it's only a 7-point game. And like I said towards the end of the first, 4-point game, get a stop, chance of making it one possession at the quarter, but Andrew Smolin with a huge 3 for Lucas to push this out a little bit for them, get a little bit of a comfortable position, especially with the ball to start the second.
6 Lucas Cubs have scored, just one player so far on the board for Danbury, that Murray, of course.
And 8 turnovers for Danbury in that first quarter. Only 4 by the Cubs, but you just saw the 5th right there.
And I got a sneaky suspicion that we're going to see this lead grow by leaps and bounds here in this quarter, because we were listening into the Lucas huddle, and Taylor Eisman not happy with the effectiveness of his team at the defensive end. So look for a little bit more high potent energy, Travis.
Yeah, I said that press, it can be lethal at times, but not as much so far. Danbury just able to chuck it down the court. And that was the words that Coach Eisman said, chuck it down the court and run.
Verbatim. No call. And somebody else on the board, it's Blake Barker for Danbury.
It didn't lower his shoulder, just muscled his body into there. The referee said that's a legal play. 5-point game.
Corbin Toms missed that one. Leads to a foul.
That'll be Tom's second.
You see that was Corbin there who gave up the body a little bit as the Cubs come up with another turnover. Wallace.
Oh, what a pass.
Beautiful look inside. Sauter always cutting. Barker lost the handle. As we take one more look here at the setup by Goose. And Coach Stiebler giving the referee an earful. Feels like, and at times I tend to agree, like there's been a little bit more physicality in terms of being able to ride the offensive player than is normally allowed.
Well, this is what you see with this Lucas Cubs defense. They will get in your face. It doesn't matter if they foul. You saw with Tom's already with 2 fouls. With Sauter just offline. Coach Stiebler talking about hockey. Yesterday, I mentioned it in our tournament talk. 41st anniversary of the Miracle on Ice. Danbury's going to probably need a miracle. However, they're in a good position so far. Down 2 starters.
Hung tough up to this point. Team that over the last couple of seasons, 3-42 record since Keith Diebler took over. Not something that he's accustomed to. As mentioned, state championship coach. As that one falls for Sauter.
And that's just a pure shot. I know when Lucas practices, they bring out that rebounding machine, and each player will get a foul there against Andrew Finello, but they'll get the machine out, and every player on the varsity squad will come down to the other end of the court and shoot 100 threes per practice. And it shows any given player out on this court can hit. We saw that last year in the regional semifinal when Goose Wallace really took over and allowed Lucas to win.
Some shot attempt came up just short as the whistle never came there. And Goose too strong with that. Back over to Danbury.
And that was close. It almost looked like Zelms tried to deflect it off of Goose Wallace. It might have touched him. And Coach Eisman getting a warning from the bench. So next time he's going to get teed up and have to sit down. But right now, Lucas, though, with a 10-point lead.
And it does feel like referees, the thick skin that they've built up over all these years, taking the guff from the parents and the fans out there. Now that it's so quiet in these gyms with a limited capacity, you hear everything, and it hurts their feelings a little bit more this season, I think I've noticed.
Yeah, I've seen some games, not talking about anything like that Fredericktown girls game, but anyway, referees where, you know, they seem to take over the game sometimes, I think, but hopefully it won't affect the outcome that like it did a couple days ago.
Lucas looking to take over here as they've got a 10-point lead, their largest of the night, looking to add to it. Wallace jump stop, lost the handle as he went up. But another offensive rebound cleared by Tom, sets up Sauter.
Oh my goodness.
Couple of tray balls finding their mark for Sauter in this quarter, who's got the leak out. And just like he did on the football field, he's got the touchdown catch. Timeout taken by Danbury and Coach Stiebler as this one's starting to get away from him.
We had Bradley Murray start out with 14 points, but Ethan Sauter says, no, my friend, I will match you. He now with 14 points, and the Cubs up 15. They're starting to roll now, Brian, as most thought they would.
Riding their first team all-district player, and Wallace honorable mention in District 6.
And I know we talked about this yesterday in our tournament talk segment. Anybody hasn't seen it, make sure to scroll down on the Facebook, our Facebook feed, and you'll see it there. But Lucas, this is a team that could, they could make some noise in this district. They'll face the likes of St. Mary's Central Catholic if they play them up there next Saturday.
Friday.
Or Friday. It would be Friday if St. Mary's wins their game, but then face a South Central team that they played already. They only lost by 5 at South Central. This is a team that's battle-tested. This is a team that still has players from last year's regional championship appearance team. And they know they've been here before. So I think, if Lucas can keep it together, if a player like Ethan Sauter and Wallace, they can have games, outstanding games, as everybody just hit the floor for the Cubs. I don't know what just happened there. Maybe they are playing hockey. It's iced out there.
Yeah, let the bodies hit the floor. Not sure what happened at midcourt.
I just lost the complete train of thought when I saw that. Anyway, Lucas still gets the turnover after that.
Sauter spinning, Dilling inside, Harper on the other end.
Coach Diebler's going to have to call another timeout, but just the way that Sauter and Wallace play, they take it to the hole, they get double teamed, and he knows exactly where to go. He finds the open man. He's been finding him all night. And, that's got to be the 5th or 6th assist for him already.
It's what Sauter does. He's had an incredible career, capped off by this senior season. I think he's done his best work so far as a basketball player this season just because of the situation that they were put in. He thought that he was going to have his sidekick, the go-to, the best scorer in the history of a season for the program. Very well documented what happened to Riley Gossam, who is on the comeback trail, folks. So look for Lucas to play inspired, to try to get to the round of districts. That way they can get Riley out on the floor and participating. But old number 5, he's been dishing out assists and helpers here for Lucas for 4 years. He's been a real treat to watch grow and develop, and it certainly is coming to his own as a senior.
Yeah, and these seniors have taken this to heart. After Riley went down, most people thought that they wouldn't be able to do anything this year, and they've just night in and night out showed everybody that no, we're still that Lucas team that can scrap and get some wins together, and we'll play against anybody. They even faced Worthington Christian, I believe held Worthington Christian to 60 points, and the lowest point score they had was 57 against Dublin Kaufman. So this is a defense that they'll play with anybody and they don't care. Just like the football team as Goose gets the steal and the layup.
Lead starting to balloon, and you see the defensive energy picked up here at this side for the Cubs.
Hey, none of us want to do push-ups, so they had to pick it up a little bit more there.
Here's the Goose getting loose once more on the break. Nice fake right there. And then the left-handed bucket as that one comes up short from the foul line from Guy Maltese. And the Cubs starting to create a little bit of separation now. As Wallace drives, dishes, tipped away, but right back to him. Fighting for the extra possession, but not able to get it.
Goose, not the tallest player out on the court, but he's not afraid to take it at anybody inside the paint.
And Murray not afraid to take shots from anywhere. That was a deep triple.
But I think we're going to get a foul against Andrew Smolin after the rebound.
Smolin's had a nice season for them off the bench, almost 6 points, couple boards per game. And this team is so much different from what we've seen from seasons past. Yeah, they got their two big guns, but man, it has been kind of by committee. Lots of players getting involved this season, Travis, off of the bench and complimenting the two Ethans.
You can see it just in the scorebook tonight. They have 7 players that have played so far, 6 are in the scorebook. Last year you saw maybe 2 or 3 really go off. But this year, everybody, they're sharing the love, and they're still getting points out of it.
Maltese with the scoop shot.
And that was good defense by Goose, just standing there, not going after the swat. He threw off the shot by just standing in the way. And most players, they want to go for that. So we see an offensive foul against Harper.
And gets an earful from the referee as he tossed the ball down on the floor. Oof. I think he chucked it right at Maltese. So actually lucky he didn't pick up a technical there. Danbury has gone just icy cold. A cold front has come through offensively for them. Just 2 points here in the second quarter. That one not even close for Sauter.
You can hear him yell, "Oh, Jesus," right after he let it go because it was too strong. But, Lucas, they've been containing Murray in the second quarter, and that's been the key. He's the only one that's been able to score for them thus far.
He airballs this tip back in by Conrad, but into the hands of Wallace. And now Smolin down on the block. Great position. See if they can work the post here. They cannot. The Lakers have just dropped an anchor since early in the second.
Thank you, Adam Thompson, for that.
Come up with a stop here, though.
I like this Webster-Wallace matchup. Wallace stripped Webster on one side, and then Webster on the other end just really deflecting that ball and keeping Wallace from getting the layup. $15 turnovers, though, for Danbury. Only 6 for Lucas. So like you said, this defense has really picked things up.
Smolin lets it fly, and deja vu from the first quarter when he knocked it down from that corner.
If you and I have that much time, we drain that. There was so much time there for Smolin to just, get his feet under him, put it up, score.
Matching it back at the other end, Webster gets 2 of them back anyways, the 6'5" junior. I did see you putting up a few shots with Lucas before tonight's game as Smolin misses this one. Offensive board and putback, though, by Harper.
Yeah, my first shot went off. It just went off the front end, and then the second one a little too strong, airballed it. But, we're not going to talk about that now because we actually have the players out in the court, Brian.
We'll just leave it right there then, Travis, and ball's going to stay down at this end.
When's the last time you were out on the court?
I have not played competitive basketball in 1 full year. How about Sauter getting ahead of the pack, and that's the second time that we've seen that. Nobody back defensively for Danbury.
Well, he read that long defensive rebound as well. He saw the ball kick out to the three-point line, and he knew that his teammates were going to be there to get it and just took off for the easy bucket.
Wallace tried to thread the needle in between a series of Danbury defenders. As Murray puts it up and in, and they desperately needed that one. Smolin was able to get it to the hoop there at the gun, but that's going to take us to the end of 2, where it's all Lucas there in the second quarter, building a 44-21 lead.
Yeah, this is the Lucas squad that we expected to come out. They had a little bit of a slow start in that first quarter, but the defense picked it up, and, well, the offense kept rolling.
We're going to take a quick commercial timeout. When we come back, we'll break down the first half stats for you, get you ready for quarter number 3. Keep it locked and loaded, live and free. High school hoops on a Tuesday night. We'll return on the OH Report.
A1 Auto Sales Mansfield is driving excitement. You asked for it, you got it. A 3-month, 3,000-mile warranty on all vehicles. A local veteran-owned dealership caring about the community, providing quality vehicles at rock-bottom pricing. Cars, trucks, SUVs, and vans of all makes and models. No bones about it. Daisy the Doodle says, thanks, A1 Auto Sales Mansfield, for making my first-time car buying experience simple. Located at 100 South Illinois Ave, A1 Auto Sales Mansfield is the dealership for you.
Stop in the Cub Cave Carryout in Lucas. Conveniently stocked with everything you need, and even a one-stop pet shop. Located on Ohio 39 in the heart of Lucas. Proudly supporting Cubs playoff basketball.
But let's stick with the Cubs for a moment. Do you think this defense can keep these teams under 50 points and give them a chance to win and move on?
They're going to have to. That's going to be the calling card, is can they shut teams down defensively and play that grinded out, slow possession style to get a win. And, like we said at tournament time, it only takes one night. A team has a bad shooting night. Lucas sits down and guards, and they could be dangerous. They could be really, really dangerous.
Mark's right. If they want to win, they're going to have to keep it to low-scoring games. I know the Panthers, they got pretty much everybody back from that team that almost knocked Lucas off in a big comeback last year when they were flat-out loaded, so it's going to be a tougher task for them. And then they'd have to potentially get through the top seed in South Central, so I don't really think that this matches up in Lucas's favor. But if they can enforce their style of play, no shot clock, of course, at the high school level, it's possible. Possible the Cubs could grind out like a 39-37 type of victory over a couple of these teams. Why not? No paywalls, just live sports. Exclusively on the OH Report. It's halftime here inside the Cub Cave, where a big second quarter push by Lucas has them on top comfortably, 44-21. My name is Brian Skowronski, joined by Travis Berardi here inside of the Lucas Cub Cave, and we're going to dive into some bracketology for a moment with you folks. Specifically, we're going to look at the Division 4 district that Lucas and Danbury are competing in, and see what it looks like, the road ahead for these defending district champion Lucas Cubs. And it gets tough after today, Travis. Likely going to have to go on the road and play Sandusky St. Mary for a sectional championship. And then from there, like you were talking about during the broadcast, likely showdown with the number 1 seed South Central, who've got one of the best players in the state in David Lamoureux.
So Lucas will go into a district rematch after this game. They'll most likely take on St. Mary Central Catholic, who they beat in overtime, and then possibly go up against the South Central team, who they beat in overtime in the district, and that would just get them to the district finals, where they're probably going to have to go up against either St. Paul and the Winslow Twins or the Margaretta Polar Bears, who they want to finally get that district championship after the last few years of tough losses the last few years in that district round. So a lot of good teams in this, and I know we talked yesterday in tournament talk. This is one of the most open, wide open districts, I think, in the area.
I agree, too, because on their best days, these top teams are all really good, and I think there's a few sleepers creeping around in there. I see Mansfield Christians leading right now big over Buckeye Central. Crestline potentially can give some teams some problems. They've played really tough. Monroeville has maybe the best offensive threat in the entire bracket playing for them. So it's wide open in the sense that there's a lot of good teams that, depending on the matchup, I think that's really where it all lies, is that, you know, how do you stack up against your opponent? What type of draw do you get? Because on any given night, I think there's about 5-6 teams in here that can probably knock off anybody.
And you know what? Those 5-6 teams just feel happy that Colonel Crawford moved up to Division 3, because it'd be no contest.
They're scary.
You know, they've moved on.
And here are the halftime stats for you folks. Lucas dropping 4 bombs from long range, couple from Sauter, couple from Smolin, but just absolutely clobbering Danbury on the boards.
Yeah, and Danbury only 3 field goals in that second quarter, and one of those with the late 3 by Murray with time running out. Lucas, you know, on the rebounding edge, also the turnover edge, 15-7 in favor of Danbury. Danbury 8 turnovers in that first quarter, 7 turnovers in the second. It's just all been Lucas since maybe the 2-minute mark of the first quarter.
And after the Cubs, at about that 2-minute mark of the first quarter, got a verbal lashing from their head coach about how lazy he felt they were on defense, it's been a 180, and they haven't looked back. Cubs have got it going on, and that's why they're comfortably in the driver's seat. But expected, Travis. I mean, we saw this exact contest last year. 80-31 was the differential there, even though it's a much different-looking Lucas team. But Danbury, a lot of these kids played on the team from the season ago, and just 2 wins this year after winning just 1 game all of last season. So it's just a team that doesn't have a great basketball culture right now. I know Coach Diebler is trying to change that, but the Lakers have not won more than 7 games since back in 09-10 season, and that was the last time that they actually won a tournament game, Travis, if you can believe it. So it's been a long time for them.
Yeah, but Coach Diebler, you know, 4 of the 5 stars that you saw start this game, they'll be back next year. Murray, he will be back next year. So you got to think, going to next season, that might be the year that Coach Diebler starts seeing the winning begin at Danbury, like he saw with other squads, especially that Upper Sandusky team that he had go to a state championship and win another state championship. So, you know, you get a guy like Coach Diebler, so many great coaches around this area, and you have to put him onto that list as well.
We'll see if the program now can take the next step with Coach running the show.
But on the other hand, Coach Taylor Eisman, he's made a name for himself in the past couple years. Lucas, they weren't synonymous for being a basketball school until 3-4 years ago. And now they've just taken over, especially in the Mid-Buckeye Conference where they've won 3 straight Mid-Buckeye Conference championships. They were in a district final. Now they were in a district semifinal. They won a district championship. And they have their guys at least in position to possibly make it back to district this year.
So third quarter action now underway here inside of the Cub Cave, and picking up where they left off defensively are the Cubs, forcing another turnover. See if Lucas can cash it in here at the other end.
And that's just getting your hand into the passing lane. Sometimes you hope for the deflection. They got it there. They got the turnover.
Sauter lets it fly, front iron, boarded by Harper. Kick out deflected. Selms just kind of flicked his arm up and it worked out, but they give it right back. And then in transition, the Cubs get it done.
Yeah, Danbury, they're still trying to push the ball. Murray a couple times. Is this going to be a block or a charge? And it is. It's a charge. So we take a look at this. He just went at full speed. And
yeah,
Finello
no question
just
about
right
it.
in position.
Andrew was just camped out there, beat him to the spot.
And I know Finello looked like he braced himself early, but he was so out of control that doesn't matter. If you're out of control like that, more likely than not, as Sauter threads the needle, but it's blocked.
Yeah, through the 5-hole, but unfortunately the defense even better there. Big swat party in the lane. Floater back at the other end by Zelms, no good, but the follow by Murray, who got off to such a piping hot start, and he has really cooled off after having 14 points in the first.
And Danbury needed him to continue putting up numbers to open up the other players on the court for Danbury, but Lucas, their defense just picked it up and shut everybody down.
Murray gives it up, matched up with Sauter. So they're going to try the low block. Barker runs into a double team. Murray, nice head fake, 3-ball. And tipped into the hands of Harper.
Just the ball movement from Lucas has been near perfect tonight. Just look at it. Finello gets his second bucket off of Sauter's, got to be 15th assist of the night, it seems like.
Ethan Sauter always distributing for this Lucas offense. As that one, nothing but net. Zelms from the foul line.
And that's a nice look there by Zelms. Got the ball on the elbow, squared himself up, had time, swishes it. I'd like to thank everybody watching on Facebook and YouTube tonight, live and free.
So I go ahead and mash the like button, I should say, share as well, and let other people get the gift of live and free on the OH Report. Always appreciate the follows and the shares.
Logan Toms gets in on the action.
Quick move by Murray. Got bumped. A couple free throws coming up. It'll be the first free throws of the game for Danbury.
And it just seems like every time on offense, Lucas knows exactly where their teammates are on the court. Multiple times have we seen these no-look passes for easy buckets.
A lot of players get involved for this Lucas offense, night in and night out.
And yes, teams like South Central have Lamoureux. St. Paul have the Winslow twins. But Lucas has 5 players that can put up numbers on any given night, and that balance can even out a game against a higher scorer on other squads.
As Lucas gets deeper into the tournament, as you heard on Tournament Talk, us break down along with Mark Bollinger, I think it's all going to come down to defense. Tonight, against an outmatched opponent, Lucas can try to get up and down the floor, play fast, have fun, do all these no-look passes. But when they get a little bit deeper and they have to play some of the top teams like South Central, they probably are going to have to slow it down, play a little bit more under controlled pace, value each possession, and then just lock in, sit down defensively.
Yeah. And Coach Eisman, with his schedule, his non-conference schedule in the regular season, he's gotten his guys prepared for those games. And that's why you saw a 47-41 game in Ontario, a 50-45 game at South Central, when those teams can put up numbers.
Over the end line is Maltese. Turnover back over to the Cubs, leading by 25 here at home. We're going to punch their ticket back to the sectional championship, place where they've become comfortable. And the ball movement continues to impress. Finello, another bucket here in the third.
Yeah, Danbury trying that full court pressure. Lucas not phased.
Finello saves it back in bounds right to Murray, who was waiting for it.
And I think we're going to get a foul against Lucas off the rebound.
It's going to be 4 fouls on Finello. He's going to take a seat.
We were talking about that offensive balance for Lucas. Smolin, 8 points. Finello, 6. 11 for Wallace. 16 for Sauter. 6 for Toms. 7 for Harper. It's exactly what the Cubs need in tournament time, this balance.
We know that they've definitely got the cardio conditioning, their top guys, to go the whole way if they need them to. As that one dropped by Corbin Toms from the corner.
So the 7th player to get in on the scorebook for Lucas tonight.
Spinning inside, up fake. Goose Wallace called for the foul, defending Barker. Sophomore heading to the free throw line now.
Parker gets his 3rd point. 27-point game now, just over midway through the 3rd.
Two for 2 on that trip.
Tom's able to break the press, but then turns it over.
So Zelm's back the other way. Nice head fake. Missed the shot, though. Sauter skying for the board. He sends it ahead to Toms. And a pretty drive right there. Logan.
Toms the Toms. Give Toms the bucket, Toms the assist.
We're going to get Smolin back out onto the floor here as Harper takes a seat. And the Cubs bench just always calling for effort and energy. I love that. The commitment all night long to just playing inspired and as fast and physical as you can. It's certainly what is preached here at Lucas as Barker chased down his own miss.
Knew right off the release of that 3 that he was not going to make it. Comes in, gets the rebound, puts it back up. That's hustle right there. And then he gets the defensive rebound on the other end.
Zelm skies a 3, and it rainbows its way home. Cuts the deficit down to 23.
That barely hit net going through.
Tom's offensive rebound. Looking to attack. Now Coach Eisman wants to see his squad get into a set here in the half court. So they work it through. Logan on the wing.
Looking for the pick and roll, couldn't get it. They get it on the other end, though. And Smolin adds on to his points. 61-36 now.
Easy offense right there on the ball screen for the Cubs. Playing inspired defense. Sauter. Can't hit. Loose ball foul is going to go against Lucas. And look at that. Just leaves your entire screen. Where'd it go? Dropping out of the sky. And like you said, barely even tickled the twine.
Those are the fun shots you like to see go down. That did the gateway arch as it went into the net. Oh, nice pass. Trying to pull that from the Lucas book, but it's deflected out of bounds.
Zelms just couldn't handle the pass. Probably would have had an easy one.
Danbury tried to picket fence, but one of the links of the fence actually intercepted Murray, but he's still able to hit the three.
Sometimes it just doesn't go how you draw it up, but can still work out in your favor as slowly Danbury chipping away at the deficit that was ballooned out to about 30 here in the frame.
You have to think if they could score more points in that second quarter, we'd still be talking about a possible Danbury comeback right now.
Instead, it's still a pretty comfortable margin here for Lucas, looking to add to their 22-point cushion. But called for the carry there is Corbin Toms.
Yeah, he was going to try once again for that pick and roll. Saw at the last second that it wasn't there and tried to readjust, but was too late.
Webster checking in for the first time here in the third quarter for the Lakers. Played some solid minutes in the first half.
Under a minute left here in the third.
Murray just looks like he's playing at a different pace than everybody else, does he not? Such a twitchy kid.
Yeah, he's very fast to the ball. Speaking of fast, Corbin Toms sprints down the court, gets the pass and bucket.
And now Sauter with the rip. Pushing ahead, he's got Smolin. And backside Toms cutting. Would have been a tough shot there.
But you know what? You go back and look at what Ethan Sauter did on the defensive end. You watch the replay of the nice pass for the bucket, but referees aren't going to call that because he's not using his hands. He's using his body to stay in front of the offensive player. And he's right up in your grill still, but he's not using his hands. Refs aren't going to call that. You're not swiping at the ball. You're just standing in front of him. And that's what Lucas does on defense. That's why they're so infuriating to the other team on defense, because they're just going to stay in front of you. They're going to be right up against you, but they're not going to foul you either.
Lakers just 7 ticks, but they throw it right inbounds to Sauter. Racing back the other way. Missed the scoop, and that's going to take us to the end of 3 with the Cubs well on top, 63-39. Stop in the Cub Cave Carryout in Lucas. Conveniently stocked with everything you need, and even a one-stop pet shop. Located on Ohio 39 in the heart of Lucas. Proudly supporting Cubs playoff basketball.
A1 Auto Sales Mansfield is driving excitement. You asked for it, you got it. A 3-month, 3,000-mile warranty on all vehicles. A local veteran-owned dealership caring about the community, providing quality vehicles at rock-bottom pricing. Cars, trucks, SUVs, and vans of all makes and models. No bones about it. Daisy the Doodle says thanks, A1 Auto Sales Mansfield, for making my first-time car buying experience simple. Located at 100 South Illinois Ave, A1 Auto Sales Mansfield is the dealership for you.
Just 8 minutes remain here in the sectional semifinal. Lucas looking to advance. They're on top right now, 63-39. Brian Skowronski, Travis Berardi with you on the call from the Cub Cave. And Lakers played pretty tough there in the third, though.
Yeah, 19-18 quarter in favor of Lucas, but Coach Eisman at the break saying, guys, I think we're still playing a little bit lazy on the defensive end. We allowed them to score as Smolin gets another bucket, but we allowed them to score and stay in that quarter at least. We need to pick it up defensively. If you're tired, come out. We have players for you. I remember in talking with Coach Joe Jakubik when he was at St. Peter's saying, you know, in this D4 district, there may be 5 or 6 good players. If you can have 6, 7, or 8 guys that can contribute, you're going to be a contender in the district at least because you have more guys off the bench than most teams do in a Division IV school.
And you got to play 6, 7, or 8 guys more often than not just for the pure conditioning factor. It's just a matter of if all those kids are going to come in and be difference makers.
Exactly, and that's the mentality that Lucas has.
Barker from the block kicks it out. Zelms tipped out. Long rebound ends up in the hand of Maltese. Now Andy backing his way in. Gets the floater to drop.
That's the only way you're going to get a bucket against this Lucas defense inside the paint.
About a minute gone by here in the fourth. Cubs.
Oh, my.
With a 24-point lead. It's going to stay there, though. Wallace, beautiful move to get by the defender, but missed the jumper. And off the leak out, Danny Harris comes through with the basket.
Sauter's pretty much doing anything he wants right now. Got 5 guys in front of him. Okay, I'll just weave in between you, draw the foul, go to the line. He's been doing this all game.
He is certainly a player that is in total control when he has the basketball.
It's his 17th point.
Definitely our front runner for player of the game at this point in the contest. Murray sends one too strong. Sauter soars for the rebound. Underrated rebounder too for being at about 5'10".
I know there's a couple games where he flirted with a triple-double this year.
Gets an open
Speaking
look
of triple,
and cash it in.
21 now for Sauter, but right back down the other end.
Harris with back-to-back buckets for Danbury. And as much joy as we get out of seeing Sauter knock down the 3, it's the lapse in defense there that's just going to drive Heisman nuts.
Yeah. He knows you're up 25, yes, but as a coach, you want to see them play 100% the whole way. Yeah, you're probably going to get the win, but it's an effort thing for coaches.
See how much longer the two stud seniors stay on the floor as you see Ethan Sauter creating more havoc, diving, giving up his body to create the turnover. Now unloads. I think he understands that his time's about up on the court, so trying to get all his while he can.
Yeah, 3 Cubs in double figures so far. A couple others flirting with it.
Nice up fake and good-looking jumper there by Conrad.
Now the 6th Danbury player to get into double figures, but is it too little too late, Brian?
Great question, Travis.
So those questions why we make the big bucks, Brian. Come on. Either that or get fired, one of the two.
So Finello in, Tom's out. Cubs basketball. And they tried to get it to Sauter in the corner. We've seen that a couple times tonight. This time well defended by Conrad. They still get it to Ethan, who had an open look, elect to swing it. See Andrew Finello head to the free throw line.
You look at the scoreboard, 70-47. That whole over-under 50 is pretty much thrown out the window now.
Well, I thought the style of play that Danbury does, the run and gun and the full court pressure, and the Lucas too, I thought that we'd get a lot more points here tonight than that 50 that we were talking about. And we've certainly seen it. The Cubs can score when they're put in situations where they need to. We've definitely seen them on occasions this year be up in the 60s and 70s. So they have the firepower. It's just when they get the competition that's very gifted on the offensive end, that's when Lucas, they tend to do their best work. They'll play to the level of their competition, and they know that starts on the defensive end.
Oh, my.
But, man, offensively, whew, that was a pretty shake and bake. Toms.
Now the 4th Cub in double figures. That's a nice ball fake and a take, but he just couldn't get it to fall.
Now Toms with the excellent look ahead to Finello.
4 minutes left here.
Off this two-man game that's been so successful for Lucas tonight. Not on this possession. Murray spinning. Crazy shot. Would have been awesome if it would have dropped.
Oh, look at that. But on the other end.
And go. Harper's had about 3 beautiful setups tonight from Ethan Sauter.
He now with 9 points. And look who's coming to the scorer's bench. Riley Gossam.
And he's going to get an opportunity to check in here soon as we get a foul on the floor.
Extra pass always leads to an open shot.
And we get a big ovation, of course, as number 12 out onto the floor. And what an incredible story it has been, his return to action. If you don't know, folks, Riley Gossam, just a couple of weeks before the start of the season, the top leading scorer in the history of the program for a single year, just shy of 1,000 points. Horrific car wreck, left his right leg just completely destroyed, and he somehow, some way, Travis, over only about 3.5 months, has got himself in the position where he's out on the floor participating.
Yeah, he told me before the game that, you know, he's able to get the jogging down there. He can run a little bit. Can't quite get the hops up just yet, but he thinks next week the district tournament is when he can get back out there on the court, which is just phenomenal for him.
Well, he's out there right now, so I think this will be a true test over these last 3:19 of what it's going to look like when he's actually playing.
Yeah, and this is, I mean, garbage time. This is the perfect time for him to, you know, he doesn't have to go full bore if he doesn't need to. He might get a couple, you can still get that game situational shot off if he can.
Double team leads to a turnover. Cameron Keegley threw it away. And now a nice pass to the cutting Webster, who finishes.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's going to be back-to-back turnovers here for Lucas, and that from their senior Wallace, who's going to be brought out of play now. Aiden Culler, freshman, into the mix.
So that should be it for him. 25-point lead for the Cubs with 2:40 left. I think it's safe to say that the Cubbies will play for a sectional championship once again.
Fall-away jumper pure from Murray. Been a bright spot for Danbury here tonight. Off the kick out, Gossam thought about a triple. Now they bring it back up top. Got Riley down on the low block. Would love to see him try to go to work in the post.
There's Gossam. Got it.
We know he can do that. Riley Gossam burying a corner three. His 6th point of the season.
Hey, the shot's still there.
And I forget, he was really close to 1,000, Travis, like less than 50 points away. So I know that that's something that matters to him, and he'd like to get there.
Yeah, and you got to think if he had that full season, he would probably become Lucas's all-time leading scorer. which is just a shame to see. Yeah, probably won't be able to do that, but still, you know, if he can make the difference at least as a spot shooter. If he can get that speed back, be able to get, get the hops back a little bit for that district round. If he's left open, he can still hit the shot, which could come down to be critical for Lucas in a couple games in the district tournament if they can make it there.
Yeah, my real question, I think Riley can probably contribute offensively. On defense, do you need to hide him? You probably can't play man-to-man out on the perimeter. You're probably going to have to go zone when number 12's in the game. But down at this end of the floor, if he just camps out somewhere in the corner, I mean, you just seen the proof that the kid can flat out shoot it.
And Coach Eisman, he can even get maybe a triangle and 2, a box and 1, and have him, sitting at the top around the free throw line defensively there, so he wouldn't have to run as much. But we'll just have to see.
That one falls. Three-pointer good from Brandon Wonder. Now they zip it. Gossam unloads another three! It's a standing O from some of the fans here in the building. Now the air ball into the hands of Riley, running the point now. Kid's getting some confidence. Turnover, though.
So for the second straight season against Danbury, Lucas has hit 81. Conrad hits. So back-to-back threes on back-to-back possessions for Danbury.
Skip pass leads to a open look there. Ty Lenhart can't knock it down. And zip it back the other way, Murray adds to his total. Trims it down to a 20-point game.
And that should do it.
Corbin Tom's going to dribble it out as the Lucas Cubs have punched their ticket to the sectional championship. We'll get confirmation, but last I saw, Sandusky St. Mary with a healthy lead probably will be playing the Panthers. We'll step away. When we come back, we will have post-game coverage, including an interview with our player of the game. I think it's got to be Ethan Sauter. So keep it locked in. We'll be right back. Post-game coverage rolls along, live and free.
A1 Auto Sales Mansfield is driving excitement. You asked for it, you got it. A 3-month, 3,000-mile warranty on all vehicles. A local veteran-owned dealership caring about the community, providing quality vehicles at rock-bottom pricing. Cars, trucks, SUVs, and vans of all makes and models. No bones about it. Daisy the Doodle says thanks, A1 Auto Sales Mansfield, for making my first-time car buying experience simple. Located at 100 South Illinois Ave, A1 Auto Sales Mansfield is the dealership for you.
Stop in the Cub Cave Carryout in Lucas. Conveniently stocked with everything you need, and even a one-stop pet shop. Located on Ohio 39 in the heart of Lucas. Proudly supporting Cubs playoff basketball. No paywalls, just live sports. Exclusively on the OH Report. We are now back with our Reinhardt Injury Attorneys Player of the Game, Ethan Sauter. Big 21-point performance for him. And this is a team that's really known for your defensive prowess. How much fun is it to come out here and drop an 80 burger on somebody?
Well, that is nice, but Iceman said in the locker room, I mean, we give up 61 points. We can't be doing that. So it is nice to drop 80, but we got to learn to play harder defense if we want to go anywhere in the tournament.
Go a little bit deeper into the mentality of this team, because listening to the coaches over here on the sideline, they're constantly pushing for effort, energy, go as hard as you can. Tell me about how that trickles down onto all the players out on the floor, and kind of what your mentality is when you're out there playing.
Our mentality, like you said, they push for perfection. Perfection on defense, on offense. I mean, that's just the Lucas way. In football, it's what they preach too. You can win by a bunch, and they still preach perfection. So that's what Iceman's teaching us, and it's helping us.
You've been playing and starting at point guard for this school for a long time now. Talk to me about how you've elevated your game from when you were a freshman getting in the mix until now. Where do you feel like you've grown the most?
I'd say handling the ball, because our freshman, through freshman to senior year, we played some pretty good teams, and I had to, in middle school, I wasn't handling the ball so much. It wasn't so tough. But you come in high school, you got full court presses, and you got to learn to handle the ball, and I think that's what I've developed the best.
You guys are going to be moving on, taking on Sandusky St. Mary's. You got to go to their place, though. This is a team that took you to overtime last year. If you can give me some quick initial thoughts on getting another rematch with the Panthers.
Right away, it's going to be a good game. It's going to come down to defense, and we just got to come ready to play.
And somebody who did get a play tonight, Riley Gossam, knocking down a couple of threes. For you as a fellow senior with him, just what does that do for you as a team, man? Like, how's that feel to see him get out here and actually get a play?
Oh, it's the greatest thing in the world. It's from him maybe coming out and playing with us for real, and now his doctor's telling him some bad news, but it's awesome to see him go out there, hit 2 threes. He shoots 2 threes, he makes 2 threes. You can tell how good of a player he is, and it's awesome to see him make them.
All right, congratulations, Ethan, our Reinhardt Injury Attorneys Player of the Game. Big 21-point performance and a 20-point victory. Thanks for joining us, man. And I see Coach Eisman's hanging around, so we'll go ahead and throw the headset on him. And, Coach, win by 20 here tonight, but you give up 61, and I know that you're a guy that really you encourage your kids to play defense all the time. Give me your quick initial thoughts on tonight's contest.
We won. That's the most important thing, and that's what I'll tell myself. But, yeah, we weren't real good defensively. One kid had 31. We've held teams to less than that this year, so we just got to come out ready to play. It's challenging early in the tournament. Especially this year being a little different when you're at home as opposed to going to a neutral site. You kind of get that tournament feeling. So, again, it was a little different, but you can't have excuses like that. You got to come out and play hard all the time, and just you can't give teams hope. So, we really emphasize that, and, maybe it's a good thing. We got our eyes opened up here right from the start. But, we did enough. We scored 81 points tonight, so that's obviously, a good thing when your defense is not where it usually is. But we're going to address that, and we'll have some film session and see what we did wrong tonight and get better.
You guys have certainly gotten better from the beginning portion of the season. I think you came out of the gates like 3-4 or something, and you've really turned the corner. In what ways do you feel like you've experienced the most growth collectively as a unit?
Just our young kids have learned so much, and really Ethan, my 2 seniors, and Lane. Ethan and Ethan, they played pretty prominent roles on that team last year, but the roles they have this year are completely different. And they had to learn how to, fill those roles, and the other kids had to learn how to play with them. So I knew it was going to take some time, but we've been playing pretty good lately. But again, not real spectacular tonight. But yeah, just the growth of the young kids. And when you see, Smolin having a good game tonight, Corbin Tom scored. Finello scored some points tonight. Just some other guys, we can. Whereas early, if Ethan didn't score, we didn't score many points at all. So, and then Logan Tom's freshman, he's really grown, and he's going to be a monster in a few years, and he's doing really big things already. But just getting the 6, 8, 10, 12 points from those guys, spreading the wealth there a little bit. And then you have 2 seniors that are used to it and been in big games their whole career. It makes us tough to handle.
High-scoring game tonight, of course, over 140 combined points. In what ways do you feel like your next matchup against Sandusky St. Mary is going to be a little bit different?
Well, we don't know a ton about Danbury coming into tonight. The only thing the kids can see is, their record. And, it was easy to come out and sleepwalk and, say, hey, we should win that game. But the kids obviously know Sandusky St. Mary's a little bit better. Playing them last year, they gave us a scare there. Coach Scully does a great job with his guys. They've got some kids back from last year, so we're very familiar with them. Even in the locker room before the game, we were watching St. Mary's and Danbury play each other. So, preparing for both teams there. But we've kind of had this one circled. We wish we were at home. We would have liked to have been the 4 seed, but that's it's theirs. So, a little motivation was, I'm the AD here. I don't want to have to pay for nets, so we're going to go up there and cut some nets down at St. Mary's High School on Friday.
Hey, any way to save a buck, right, Taylor?
That's right.
Nothing wrong with that. All right, well, hey, best of luck as you travel up to Sandusky on Friday night. That was an absolute classic, the game that you guys played last year where they overcame the big deficit and then you knocked them off in overtime, so maybe we can get another thriller. Looking forward to that one.
We don't want no thriller. We'll stick with that big lead we get, hopefully.
All right, Coach Taylor Eisman and his squad moving on to the sectional championships.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much. And we'll welcome Travis Berardi back on now as we jump into the final stats of the night, Travis. And Danbury had a nice third quarter there that made this look a little bit better on the final stat sheet. And they got a really impressive performance from that kid Murray. I mean, he filled it up, man, 31 points.
Yeah, 31 points. Danbury with a 40-point second half. Pretty good. Actually outscored Lucas 40-37 in that second half, but it was that second quarter, 23-7, that really made the difference. Murray, he pretty much was shut down in that second quarter. In the beginning of the third quarter, if he continued to score and if those other contributors, you had Zelms with 7, you had Barker with 7, they started contributing earlier in the game, this might be a completely different complexion of the game. We might still be playing, who knows. But Lucas able to shut Danbury down for that second quarter, take control of the game, and, pull away. 33 of 54 from the field. Lucas, 24 of 56 for Danbury. Danbury shooting a lot better in that second half. They actually hit more threes. They're 8 of 18. Lucas, 7 of 23. Free throws, really not a big stat tonight. 5 of 6 for Danbury, 7 of 11 for Lucas. But, the Cubs doing what they needed to do on the offensive, defensive glass, and they turned Danbury over 7 more times. However, a couple of those Lucas turnovers came in garbage time, so, with starters, it was probably a 10 turnover margin.
So the Cubs are going to move on to take on the Panthers for the sectional championship. Cubs played them in a thriller last year, as Coach Eisman just talked about. Just quick initial thoughts on that contest, Travis, before we wrap up things from the Cub Cave.
Well, Lucas, it's going to be a completely different game. Lucas is going to have to play a full 4 quarters at 100%. They had 4 players in double figures. They had a 5th player with 9 points. If they can do that again, they can get 81 points. They're going to be in any game in this district. And with the defense, if they can turn a team over 20, 25 times, keep their turnovers down to 10, and shoot the ball like they did tonight balanced, I think they'll be in good shape.
All right, well, that's going to wrap up our coverage here from Lucas. Once again, final score, Cubs 81, Danbury 61, as they move on. The defending district champs still alive to defend their crown. I want to thank everybody out there for watching tonight's broadcast on both Facebook and YouTube, and thank our incredible staff for making this game possible tonight, including our producer, director extraordinaire, Adam Thompson. We had Nick Jacobs on the top camera, also running out there on the floor with our new technology, our GoPro wireless setup device that we got going on.
We need a name for that. I don't know what it is yet. We need a name for it, though.
Chris Leiter was here helping out as well, checking some stats for us. Travis Berardi, my color guy. My name's Brian Skowronski. Thanks one more time, guys, for watching. We'll see you on a whole bunch of live streams the rest of the week. Make sure that you keep it locked in on the OH Report. Tons of tournament basketball on the way. But for now, we out.